So this week we are working on building a scale model of this house. It's really a casita. It's small, a life size. This is the original plan. It is 37 feet by 19 feet 8 inches. And I am doing the actual size we're going to build here. This week the students built this wall. The final product looks like this. They are building the walls without the windows, without doors. It kind of looks like this. The measurements you need to know are for the studs, that's these things, these sticks in the middle. They are 2 and 21/32 long. And if you don't know where that mark is, you have of course 2 inches over here, and then the mark is between 5/8 and 11/16. And the bottom plate here, that's this stick that everything is glued to down here. That is 7 and 7/16. Same with the top plate. Right here we have the double top plates. You don't have to worry about them yet. The goal is to build the entire house, and then you won't need those until we connect all the walls together. These pieces of cardstock, I actually used file folders, and I cut them to, it looks like they're 1.5 inches by 3, so 1.5 inches this way, 3 inches this way. If you want materials, I have cut plenty of materials. And if you want to borrow a hacksaw, you can. I bought these at Harbor Freight. They come in a little kit. They have this one, and they have this one. Harbor Freight actually donated the materials, which is really nice. I bought the 2x4s, but the tools they have donated to me, so letting you use it is no problem. As far as the actual cutting goes, there are several ways you could do it. The way that I found most helpful is to well, you cut one, obviously, but after you've cut one, you take the one that you've measured exactly 2 and 21/32, and you use it as a stencil. And this works because the width of the hacksaw blades is about the same width as this pencil mark. So I just make a bunch of these marks here, and then I don't push. I only pull. Now, mind you, the teeth on this, let's see if we can get a good picture here. The teeth are facing this way. They're not facing this way. Okay, so the best, like the cutting edge, you cut when you push away, you cut a little less intense when you pull, and that's perfect for this thin material, so that you don't crack it, you don't splinter it, and you get a good edge. If you don't do that, then you get more of this. So then the first wall, it will take 13 of these pieces of wood. And I am more than willing to do all the cuts and just give you the materials themselves already pre-cut. And then you hot glue like so. Forgot to mention there's another step. You're gonna take your stencil and you're going to make sure that both sides are the same length as the stencil. Of course, this one you can see it's longer. So then you're going to use a file, and you're going to file them to as close as possible. And you can see that these are a lot, like they're pretty much exact. And then you just keep doing that with all of them. It is very important that they be exactly the same length. This next part is where we lay out our wall. So with the flatter side facing up or down, not the longer side. Okay, this is not the way to do it. This is the way to do it. And by the way, we are doing a 1/32 scale, and the studs are every 2 feet, and I do 2 feet just so that we don't have to do so many. The wood that I'm using is 1/8 by 3/16, and yes, I know that's not the exact dimension of a 2x4, but that's what my table saw ended up doing. So that's what I ended up with. So first thing, I'm going to actually see if I can tape these together, just for the sake of keeping them from moving, because this part is rather critical, and you want them to stay right next to each other. Okay, so I'm just going to tape them like that. I'll take the tape off when I'm done with this. So because this is a 1/32 scale, my math tells me that I'm going to put my studs, I wanted to do them every 2 feet, so I'm putting my studs every 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to make a mark every 3/4 of an inch. Now on the end piece, I'm going to measure 1/8 of an inch away from the end. There's always a piece on the end, so I'm measuring 1/8 away from the end, and I'm going to make a mark there. Then I'm going to come back to my other marks, and then I'm going to put a mark that is 1/8 to this direction from all of them, because my starting measurement was from the end, and then I did 3/4 of an inch. So now I'm going to go in to every single mark and measure. And it's really hard to do this up close to the camera, but I'm going to measure 1/8 over, because that's the thickness of my little lumber. And that's where my studs are going to be. This is going to be my top plate or bottom plate, and this is going to be other side. Okay. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Got lines lined up every 3/4 of an inch, and then 1/8 of an inch next to it. Now this is where things get a little bit technical. My plan has a window. Let me just show it. Has a window right here in the bathroom, and there's a door right here. So this is how you would frame that wall. I just decided, because I don't really know, I just kind of made it up. I have a 1 foot by 2 foot window here. As you can see, we've got a support. So the distance between here and here is 1/32 of 1 foot. I don't remember off the top of my head what that is. And then this right here, 1/32 of 2 feet. Okay, and so you just kind of frame around it, making sure you have support studs underneath. And then I need to add a stud here because that's you have to add, and I haven't done this to this plan yet. You have to add on your pattern. You have to add after you've added all these. We have a head plate that's a 2x6 sideways, and then usually you put half-inch OSB in between, so you have two 2x6s next to each other. I'm just going to use some thicker material sideways, and it doesn't really have to be anything special because it's a scale model. Kind of the same thing here. This is a doorway. It was a 3 feet and some change. I don't remember exactly. And the height was 81, I want to say 81, because you're leaving an inch for the inch on each side for the trying to think for the wood for installing the door, or putting in a pre-hung door. Again, you're just going to put support studs underneath it, and then I didn't put one on the side. There should be one on the side as well, and I should have one there, so there should be 3. I'm just gonna mark that now. I'll just pretend that I did. Okay, so there's that one, and obviously I don't have one here because this is a doorway, and so I would have another one right here to support the doorway, and I will draw that in a minute. So this is the basic layout. Again, you don't have to do the second top plate until you put it together, but these gaps right here correspond to the wall that I'm going to add later, and that's how you lace the wall together. And this this overhang here is going to be what this, so the overhang is going to go on top of this wall when I stick it here. As you can kind of see, that's this wall going here, and if I had my other wall done, I would put this one here with a little piece of, let's see if I can illustrate the point here, with the second top plate overhanging and connecting the two. I've got my 2 walls. Now mind you, this isn't the wall that I'm going to finish with, but just to show how they come together, you've got them butted up against each other, and then you glue glue, but in real life they nail this the second top plate on to keep them together, and that's what keeps the wall from falling over. And then if you have like I showed this wall here, right here, this would be like a closet or whatever. So if I were to, let's say that this was that wall, and this was my exterior wall here, then I would put that second top plate overlapping here to keep this wall from falling over and to keep this one from falling over as well.